Hi, guys. Today we are going to start a brand new chapter. It's going to be topic 3, and this one is over numeric, which means numbers, and algebraic, algebra, letters, expressions. Okay, so we're going to be dealing with expressions, math problems that deal with numbers, and also ones that deal with algebra. The first section we're going to be talking about is understanding and representing exponents. So the key word for today is going to be exponents. Exponents. You're going to hear me refer to those as the little number. Exponent. Now, here is our written out objectives and success criteria. And they're so big, they're kind of overwhelming. But our first objective is going to be to write expressions using whole number exponents to represent real world and mathematical problems. So we want to write expressions using exponents. And the other main goal is we want to evaluate, that means find the answer to an expression with an exponent. Okay, so this is your checklist, the things you must be able to do in order to be successful with this lesson. You need to be able to identify the parts of a power. You need to know what a power is, what is the base, and what is the exponent. So that's some vocabulary we're going to be looking for. You need to be able to write repeated multiplication as a power using the base and the exponent. Same vocabulary. Write a power as repeated multiplication. And once again, evaluate. That means find the answer to expressions with whole number exponents. Okay, so it looks like we have a lot to do, but you're going to find if you can learn these 3 vocabulary words, well, I guess it's 4, power, base, exponent, and evaluate, you're going to be good to go. So the first thing we're going to do is do movie time. We are going to watch the video from Solve As Realize. So I have it up right here. Here it goes.
How can you write a number using exponents? The expression 2 times 2 times 2 represents the number of cells after 1 hour if there is 1 cell at the start. How can you write this expression using exponents? How many cells will there be after 1 hour?
Okay, so it wants us to take this expression right here. This is called repeated multiplication because I have the same number over and over and it's being multiplied. So they want to take 2 times 2 times 2 and rewrite it in a shorter, simpler way using exponents.
An exponent is a way to write a repeated multiplication expression.
You can use an exponent to write repeated multiplication of a number. Exponents are useful because they can shorten expressions that show repeated multiplication. The number that is repeatedly multiplied is the base. The exponent tells how many times the base is used as a factor.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right there. So this right here, the 2 to the little 3, that is called the power. You're rewriting a long repeated multiplication problem a shorter way. This is called the power. The base, base is the big number. The number that is larger is the base. The number that is small, and I'm talking about size, okay, like the font size. The number that's smaller is the exponent. It tells us how many times we were multiplying. I multiplied 3 separate times, so it's a power of 3. Okay, so the exponent is the little number, the base is the number that keeps getting repeated, and you write it as the big number, and we call the whole thing the power.
A number that can be written using exponents is called a power. You can use repeated multiplication to evaluate or find the value of a power. Multiply the first 2 factors. 2 times 2 equals 4. Then multiply that product by the last factor. 4 times 2 equals 8.
Okay, so we're not going to do this activity, but what I want to show you is I'm writing with my trackpad. I don't have my mouse right now. So we had 2 times 2 times 2. That's what we want to work out. That's the same as 2 to the power of 3. So we are actually going to be using our calculator to answer most of these questions, but sometimes you may not have a calculator and you can work them out on your own. So 2 times 2 is 4, but you still have another 2. 4 times 2 equals 8. So the answer, when you evaluate it, is 8. Okay, but we will be using a calculator for pretty much all of these. Let me erase this and we'll continue the video. Okay, that's good enough, I think. Get my mouse.
2 to the third power equals 2 times 2 times 2 equals 8. There will be 8 cells after 1 hour. Now you know how to write a number using exponents.
Okay, so let's go back to our slides. That's going to repeat, I think. Okay, let's go back to our slides. They're over here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the vocabulary. The vocabulary. So you're going to have some Pear Deck questions next that go over this vocabulary, but the exponents are used when you have problems that do repeated multiplication, like this right here. I had 2 times 2 times 2. It was repeated multiplication. I take the number that shows up. That's my big number, the base. The exponent is the little number. It tells me how many times the number was multiplied. And then when you evaluate it, you find your answer. Okay, and this right here, when you write a big number and a little number, a base using exponents, that is called the power. Okay, so we're going to do some questions where you guys are going to have to identify the vocabulary. So for this one, we have 4 times 4 times 4 equals 4 to the power of 3 equals 64. So we want to know, this was multiple choice, what is the highlighted value? And if you look at the bottom, the options are base, exponent, power, or evaluate. So if you're looking down here, what term describes that 3? If you said exponent, you are correct. This is the exponent because it's the little number and it tells me how many times I was multiplying. Exponent. Let's try another one. Look at the highlighted value. These are your options down here. Which of these options at the bottom of the screen represents the highlighted value? If you said base, you are correct. It is the big number, font-wise. It's written bigger. It's the number that is repeated over and over. It's the base. Now, we can also have these as fractions. They don't have to be whole numbers. Your options are down here. What is the highlighted value? Base, exponent, power, or evaluate? Hopefully you chose evaluate because that is the answer. When you do 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, this is what it actually equals. It equals 1/16. Okay, we got one more. Which vocabulary word at the bottom that I highlighted in blue represents the highlighted term? Hopefully you said power because it has the big number and the little number. Together, those are the power. Okay, so that's going over vocabulary. And if you're stuck on vocabulary, you can come back right here to this slide where it lists out the vocabulary for you. All right, so let's talk about writing repeated multiplication as a power. It's super easy. The first thing you're going to do is write an equal sign because we're going to write equivalent expressions. The number that keeps showing up is your base, so this is a 2. The exponent is how many times the 2 shows up. So I see it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I see it 10 times, so that is the little number known as the exponent. I just rewrote this as a power, the big and little number together. So this one, the number I see becomes my big number, my base. It shows up 1, 2, 3 times. So my exponent, my little number, is a 3. Okay, we're going to do one with decimals and fractions because these are numbers too. The number I see is 0.75. And we're going to count how many times that shows up. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So the exponent, the little number, is a 4. 0.75 raised to the power of 4. Now fractions. The fraction I keep seeing is 2/5. Fractions you have to do a little extra step with. We want to put it, sorry. We want to put it in parentheses. Parentheses around the 2/5 because we want to show the 2 and the 5 need to be raised to a power. So we have 2/5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So I have the fraction 2 to the 5th, the whole fraction raised to the power of 5. So it's as easy as that. Take the number you see, write it big, count how many times it showed up. That's your little exponent. So it's your turn to try. So you can either do these in your head or you can write them down on paper, but get ready to write repeated multiplication as a power. In class, we did it as a pair deck, but on the replay, you're going to have to do it on your own. Give me a second to erase all of these because you know I don't have a clear all button. Erase, erase, erase. Erase. All right, here's the one for you to try. Take a second and write this as a power. You may need a pause. You should have had 1.2 as your base, the large number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It shows up 5 times, so it's to the power of 5. 1.2 to the power of 5. All right, let's try another one. I'm not doing a very good job. Guys, I need my mouse. All right. Here's the next one. Write this one as a power and go ahead and pause. Your big number is 1. It shows up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. 1 to the power of 7. 1 is the base, the big number. 7 is the exponent, the little number. We have one more. Try this one. This one's actually multiple choice. I think all of those were multiple choice, but we're not here, so we're going to do it on our own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It shows up 6 times, so we should have 13 to the power of 6. 13 to the power of 6. Now, what I need you to do next is get a calculator because up next we're going to evaluate. And when we evaluate them, you need a calculator. Now, on your Canvas homepage, if you bring up your Canvas homepage, you should see highlighted in orange Desmos Scientific Calculator here. So we can use this calculator to answer our questions. So I'm going to bring it up. Okay, where you need to be looking is right here. A with a B at top. This is your power button. Okay, this is the button we will be using. A with a B at the top. Okay, so I'm going to, it didn't let me erase that. Lovely. So we are going to go back to our question. Okay, so you have a scientific calculator. Remember, we're using A with a B at the top. We want to evaluate, find the answer, 8 to the power of 4. So I go to my Desmos calculator. I am going to click 8. This is my power of 4. That is all I have to do. It gave me 4,096. So I would write that as my answer. 4,096. So this equals 4,096. Okay. The next one is 12 to the power of 3. So I come over here and I do 12. Whoops, I guess I clear all. I do 12. Here's my power of 3. It gave me 1,728. So over here, I'm going to write 1,728. Pardon the handwriting. The last one is 1/2 to the power of 5. So I'm going to clear it. 1/2. Well, I have to type it in as a fraction. Oh, and I'm no good at this. I'm going to hit this first. I'm going to hit AB first and do 1/2. Okay, so the fraction button's over here. 1/2. I need the whole thing to go to the power of 5. So I have my fraction, then I hit the exponent button. You have to make sure the 5 is raising the whole thing to that power. Okay, so it gave me this big long decimal. I can change it back to a fraction, which is honestly prettier. So 1/32. The answer here is 1/32. So we're going to rely on our calculator to do all of this repeated multiplication for us. So bring up your Desmos calculator, and it's going to be your turn to find these answers. All right, let me erase. Okay, next one. I want you to evaluate this one, 7 to the power of 3. So pause it, get a calculator, and figure it out. 7 to the power of 3. All right, so what I would do on a calculator is I would do 7 to the power of 3. And it gave me 343. That's what you should have gotten. Now, if you're like, Miss Pitcock, I don't want to use Desmos. I just want to use my cell phone calculator. Well, you just need to know that you need to do 7 to the power of 3 would be 7 times 7 times 7. You have 7 times itself 3 times. You get 343. Okay, let's do the next one. The next one I want you to try to find the answer of is this one right here. It's a decimal. Do 12.3 to the power of 4. 12.3 to the power of 4. So what you should have gotten is 12.3 to the power of 4. You should have gotten this number right here. It doesn't give me a change to fraction option, so I guess this is what I need to write. Now remember, exponents make things get really big really fast. Okay, exponential growth is something you learn about in science, where things grow very rapidly. We have 2 more. Do 58 to the power of 0. 58 to the power of 0. This one might be surprising. 58 to the power of 0. 58 to the power of 0. It gave us a 1. You're going to find anything to the power of 0 is always going to equal 1. Yes, there's a mathematical rule behind that. We're not going to go into it right now. But let's see if you can type in a fraction. Let's see if you can figure that out. So 1/3 to the power of 2. 1/3 to the power of 2. So I have to use my fraction button over here. I'm going to do 1/3. Type my 3 at the bottom. I'm going to click next to it. And then I'm going to do my power. And I forgot what it was. 1/3 to the power of 2. Oh, goodness gracious. Backspace that. Put it here to the power of 2. It gave me 0.111111 or 1/9. Okay, so that's exponents. Exponents is when you have a number that can be written as repeated multiplication, like 4 times 4 times 4. You can rewrite it as a power, 4 to the power of 3, and you can evaluate it and find its answer. So I'm going to give you one last question. And this one is a little bit harder if you're watching the replay. I want to know which one of these at the bottom is not equal to 1024. So that means in your calculator, you need to solve each of these and figure out which one does not equal 1024. And guys, this little upward arrow is how you tell that it's an exponent. This is 2 with a little 10. This is 4 with an exponent of 5. It's just I'm not able to type it in there. So pause, use your calculator, and figure out which one does not give you 1024. Okay, let's work this out. So the first one was 2 to the power of 10. Let's see. So clear all. 2 to the power of 10. It gave me 1024. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The next one is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. See how much that's so much more work than using exponents? Ooh, 625. Okay, so I'm going to mark that one out. That one did not give it to me. There might be more, so let's keep going. 4 to the power of 5. 4 to the power of 5. It gave me 1024. Last one, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. I'm not even going to check that one because that was 4 written 5 times. It's the same as 4 to the power of 5. So you should have picked B. So at this point, you should be able to identify the parts of a power. When you have 3 to the power of 4, whoa, that 4 is too big. Let me try that again. When you have 3 to the power of 4, that's the power. The base is 3. The exponent is 4. You should be able to write repeated multiplication as a power. Okay? So if I give you 5 times 5, you should be able to tell me, since that's repeated multiplication, that is 5 to the power of 2. You should also be able to take this power and write it as repeated multiplication. We didn't really go over that, but that's 3 to the power of 4. So you have 3 times itself a total of 4 times. It's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Dots mean multiplication. Evaluate means find the answer. So when you put this in the calculator, you would get 25. Okay, those are the things we should be able to do today. Your homework is in Solve Realize. Your homework is 3-1. Your homework is 3-1 over exponents. All right, guys, that's it for me. Bye.